Hey everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today's video is completely different than my normal style of content. I was streaming and wanted to quickly talk about my current philosophy and way of thinking and how I approach life. This is something I've started recently as I've gotten older, and I wish I had discovered this way of thinking way earlier in my life. I don't consider myself some sort of wise philosopher or psychologist, but I just wanted to share this in case anybody watching can benefit. Enjoy. But I wanted to just kind of talk about it because I know there's a lot of like younger people who follow me, young men, we'll call them. But I wanted to kind of just talk about like philosophy on life, I guess, because I think it can actually help some people. But basically, like if you guys don't know, the philosophy that I apply in my everyday life is stoicism. And a lot of people, when they hear stoicism, they think like stoic, and a lot of people think stoic means like having no emotions. But that's a pretty common misconception where stoicism, it doesn't mean having no emotions. It's pretty much just feeling emotions, right? But acting on them in a rational way. Basically, stoicism is having the emotions, acting on them in a rational way, and then also not being, oh, woe is me, like this is my situation. You know, I've seen so many people fall into the trap of saying, oh, I wish I, was jacked. Oh, I wish I was good at Rocket League. I wish I was successful and smart and, all this stuff, right? And you have to kind of reframe that mindset from, oh, I wish, to you have to actually start doing stuff to work towards it, I don't really have any sort of pity for people who say, oh, I wish I was like jacked, but I just can't work out, man. I can't do it. For me, like, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who also I hear say, oh man, I'm in this terrible situation and life sucks and I just don't know what to do. And trust me, I think it's good to feel those emotions. However, I think it's important to recognize that life isn't fair and that sometimes those emotions are valid, but it's not about, oh, someone else was put into a better position than me. It's about what can you do in your current position. So like, for example, like for me, right? I'm 5'8", right? I'm not short, right? But I'm not tall either. If I were to spend my whole life, like imagine I had a dream of being a basketball player, right? If I were to spend my whole life saying, oh, woe is me, I can never be a basketball player, my life sucks, right? That would just be terrible, right? Like obviously, yeah, I wasn't born 6 foot. I don't have good genetics for height, right? But if I really wanted to be a basketball player, I could definitely do things about that. It's not like there's never been any sort of 5'8" basketball players. It's not like there's never been any people who can train their height, train their vertical, train their handles, all that stuff, right? So if you're in the mindset of, oh man, I'm 5'9", most NBA players are 6 foot plus, I'll never be an NBA player, then you're absolutely right. You will probably never be an NBA player and you'll probably never be able to fulfill that dream. However, if you reframe it and you think, all right, I'm 5'9", but that's fine. That's my situation, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, that's kind of the thesis of stoicism is it is what it is. So when I hear people complaining about their situation, or especially people like in my experience as a content creator, there's a lot of people who are like, oh man, I wish my videos hit the algorithm like yours. I wish I had as many followers, as many subscribers as you. Right? And I don't mean this to sound self-righteous at all, but I put in the work. That's why I am where I am. I didn't, when I was starting, I didn't say, oh man, I wish I had all these followers and all this fame. I just said, okay, what do I need to do to actually achieve that? And that's kind of how I've set up my life and everything, right? So for my degree, I take all the classes that I need to. I do all the work that I need to get good grades in those classes. I study all I need to get good grades in those classes, and eventually I realized that doing those classes and getting that degree will help me get a job. In bodybuilding, right? And in powerlifting, for example. I'm prepping for a powerlifting competition right now, right? And if I were to just say, oh man, I wish I could lift, 500, 600, 700 pounds, like on deadlift, right? Just wishing isn't enough. I've been putting in work, doing a bunch of accessory work, doing a bunch of strength, doing programs where some days, I don't really feel like lifting. But you know what? There's work to be done, and if you want to achieve your goals, sometimes you gotta push through the hard part. And it shouldn't be, oh man, I have to work so hard, oh, this sucks. It should be, there's work to be done. That's it. There's no, oh, I don't feel well, oh, I'm not happy today, so I can't do the work. If there's things to be done, just do them. And you know, I kind of wish that I knew that as a kid or as a high schooler, right? Because there's a lot of things where I kind of just put off, and I would just be super lazy, and I just wouldn't, you know, do my work. I wouldn't do the things that were necessary for growth as, you know, as a person, you know. And I think a lot of people can benefit from hearing that, because I think nowadays many people kind of try to avoid stress in any way possible. And if you avoid stress and you never do things that are even remotely uncomfortable, it's going to be extremely hard to progress. If I try to go to the gym and lift heavy weights, but I never actually worked up to it and I never like made myself uncomfortable, then I would never progress in the gym. That's just like my kind of mentality on life. I know I was a little like all over the place, but I wanted to try out doing like a different sort of style of YouTube video and just kind of talk about some topics while just chilling. I was actually supposed to be queuing up ones this whole time, but last spring I got benched from the Penn State CRL team. And rather than just sitting there and going, oh, well, woe is me, I'm never going to be able to be on the Penn State, you know, Rocket League team again, I got to work, man. You know, I started, you know, training. I started doing 6-mans. I started playing more 2s, you know, still just basically about making the best of the life that you're given, right? It's not like you can just say, oh man, I wish I was in this person's body, and then you will be, you know, because that's not something that's ever going to happen. So why waste your time doing it? At the end of the day, you only have, well, depending on what religion you believe, you only have one life, and you just kind of have to make the best of it. If you want to spend all of your years just saying woe is me, and I wish that this was different, I wish that I was taller, I wish that I had blonde hair, you know, one, think about all the things that you can change, right? Because there's a lot of people that wish for things that they can just go out and change, you know? Obviously, like, taller, you can't change, but if you're like, oh man, I wish I had a different hair color, well, you can change that. Oh man, I wish I had some money in the bank account, go get a job, or go become self-employed and find ways to make money, you know? It's, I don't know, I got my first job at 14 when I wanted money, and I know there's some people who obviously a bit younger than 14, but you know, maybe ask your parents, hey, can I help out around the house for some chore money, or go around the neighborhood, hey, do you guys need your leaves picked up in the fall, or your lawns mowed, stuff like that, you know? And that all is definitely ways you can make money. And I definitely have empathy for people who are going through hardships in their life, but the way I kind of deal with hardships is figure out what I need to do to make the situation better, or just accept the situation as it is. And you know, maybe you don't need to make it better. Maybe you're just in a tough situation, you're stressed all the time, you have a bunch of work to do, but you just accept it. You say, all right, I have work to do, I'm just gonna do the work. The key is discipline? Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, as cliche as it sounds, lifting has taught me so much more discipline than any other like area of my life. Lifting has taught me so much discipline. I would say a lot of people get discouraged when they don't see results from something they do instantly, right? Lifting is something that takes years and years to get results. And so it's taught me a lot of discipline, you know, realizing that I have to go in there every day, and I might not always feel like doing it, but if I want to achieve the results that I set forth to get, right? Like, I know I have to do the work. And I kind of do that in every aspect of life. You know, with YouTube, I started posting daily videos. I just started like last March, or this March, I guess, like 8 months ago, right? I just started posting, and I never stopped. I just kind of made it part of my daily schedule. I said, you know what, even on the days when I don't want to post, even on the days when I'm on vacation, I'll post ahead of time and schedule it for later, you know, and it's just something that I just hold myself to. And I think largely I'm able to do that because of the discipline that I found from lifting. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. Hopefully you all can get something out of this. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of it. If you guys have any questions about it, you know, feel free.